Hello and welcome to Tuesday DJ Gig Tips, brought to you by Vibo, the music planning app. Today I want to talk about the hardest part for me for any wedding reception, and that's dinner. Yeah, dinner's the hardest part, and some people are like, what are you talking about? You play music and they eat. How hard is that? There's more to it. There's grand entrances, toasts, cake cuttings, speeches, prayers, and other things that get thrown into the mix. The other thing is you've got to hand things like wireless microphones to guests who are not used to using microphones, and they'll hold the mic way too far away from them. Nobody can hear. They turn around, they look at you, the DJ, and say, hey, fix this. There's all kinds of neat stuff that goes on. I've got a way that I run dinner in my market that works pretty well. I'm not going to say it's easy, but I'm going to say it makes things flow well. And I understand that every market structures things a little different. Most of the time, dinner starts around 6 o'clock. So I have the wedding party organized by 10 till, and that's when I bring them into the room. I do not have the bride and groom sit down immediately. I have them go to the cake right away and cut it. I know a lot of people are saying, wait a minute, we do cake cutting later in the night. Well, here in my market, cake is dessert. So catering needs time to get cake ready to serve for dessert after entree. So that's why I have them do it right away. It's good for catering. After that, if they want a prayer, we do a prayer. And after that, we eat, whether it's sit down or buffet. Now, I know a lot of people like to do toasts and speeches before dinner. The reason I don't do that is because let's say that you've got two people who are going to be doing toasts and speeches. And the best man and maid of honor have both said, yeah, 3 minutes, no big deal. Well, instead of going 3 minutes, they each go 10 minutes. Food could be cold. It's really important to me that the food is served on time, for catering, for the guests, for everybody. So, after that, when everyone has food in front of them, whether it be sit down or buffet, and I'm talking entree if it's sit down, get your main meal in front of you, that's when we can do toasts and speeches. If people are hungry, then they generally don't want to listen to what anybody has to say. They're sitting there thinking to themselves, would you please shut up so we could eat? So after everybody does their toast and their speech or welcome speech or whatever they want to do, I'll announce it's time for dessert. Whether catering serves the dessert or there's a table back by the bar where they go back and help themselves to cake. At that point, whenever tables are cleared off the dance floor and the married couple is ready to get started, we'll do a first dance. So I've got it organized, not so anybody rushes through dinner, but so it flows well. I think it flows pretty well that way. And you may do different in your market, and if you do, let us know how you do it in the comment section and how it's working for you. Let us know why you're doing it that way. I'm always willing to learn. Something else happens during dinner that's kind of nice if I have that gap where people are just being served food and they can have table conversations. You know, weddings are social events. People want to talk. Sitting at a table is a great opportunity to do that, especially if they haven't seen each other in a long time. So there's that, but what I can do is I can do what I call table rounds, where I go out to individual tables, introduce myself, and say, hey, I'm your DJ tonight. Is there anything you'd like to hear for music? I get some pretty good feedback. It's a really good way for me to connect personally with the audience. I don't go to every table usually, but I'll hit a few and talk to them. They know me, I know them, and later in the night, when I play Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, I can point to Aunt Betty and she can say thank you because she requested that song when I was walking around talking to people during dinner. Something has come up though, and it used to be this thing where the couple would say, we don't want anyone to clink glasses. What we'd like people to do is stand up and sing a song with the word love in it and we'll kiss. It's been going on for a long time. And when you're playing dinner music, and people are standing up and doing this, Usually they can just sing over the song. Sometimes the couple, once you do turn the music down while they sing and just kind of keep an eye out for what's going on, sometimes they want a microphone to do this. It can be a little disruptive, but it doesn't happen a lot. But a new thing has come up, and it happened to me last weekend, where the couple, instead of clinking glasses, would like people to stand up and tell a story about them, how they met, something about them, for them to kiss. Again, it's just a disruptive thing when you are considering all the conversations that are going on at all the different tables. What's expected is that everybody stops talking mid-conversation and gives this storyteller their attention. I got a great comment in that video. It's from Paul Young. I'm going to read it from here. I did the tell a story about the bride or groom to get the bride and groom to kiss this past Friday. It was non-stop storytelling during dinner. So much that guests who wanted to visit just started ignoring the storytellers and went ahead and visited at full speaking voice volume and ignored the request to be quiet and listen. This was after the 5th or 6th story. And I said brief stories, but once guests got on the mic and stood up, they would lose track of time. This is a problem. This can be a real problem. I'll tell you what happened at my event with this. A couple of people stood up and told stories, and I brought the music down. Now, because I had to be up there to monitor the music, I was not able to introduce myself to individuals at tables. I had to be on that constantly. But only a few people did it. Nobody wanted a microphone. They all said, well, we're in theater. We project well. And they just stood up and started talking, so I had to pay attention to the whole room. Only a few people did it though. It wasn't that disruptive, but it didn't go over great. I went up to the head table to talk to the best man and maid of honor after everybody had food in front of them. And I said, hey, do you guys need to go to the bathroom? Do you need a little time before we kick off the toasts and speeches? And I overheard the bride saying to someone, I wish more people would have told stories. That was kind of disappointing. So I got to thinking, you know what? How about we hustle stories? How about I get on the mic and designate the next 10 minutes for people to tell stories? So that's what I did. I turned the music down. I got on the mic. I said, hello, everybody. Like I had said earlier, if you want the bride and groom to kiss, they'd like to hear you tell a story about them. So who out here would like to tell a story? And a few people raised their hands. I said, all right, so we're going to hear a few brief stories from some of these folks. And before we go any further, can everyone hear me okay? Yes. Great. This is because I'm holding the microphone to my mouth. Notice when I drop the microphone out here, you can't hear me anymore, can you? They all kind of laugh. So the microphone works fine. This is the microphone everyone's going to use. Let's get on with the first speaker. I hand them the mic and I stand right there. And they tell the story. And then I take the mic. Does anyone else have a story? Because I'm looking at the time and thinking, we have a little bit of time. We go to the next story. That one goes a little longer. So I decide to end it there and I take the microphone. I tell a personal story about the bride and groom because I actually know the groom. We used to work together every year at State Fair when I was DJing Major Goolsby's. He was a bartender there. And from there I said, okay, now I'd like to introduce our maid of honor who's going to give her toast. Everyone please give Sarah a big round of applause. I hand the mic to the maid of honor, who then hands it to the best man. He does his toast. After that, I announce that dessert is served. And then after tables are cleared, we do a first dance. And I'm really sorry about the walk around up there. There's nothing I can do. Otherwise, I got to be up at 4 in the morning to do videos. If it's not a person, it's a dog. It's just how it works in old houses. So it worked really well. I'll do it that way again, designating that time for either singing a song or telling a story as a block before we jump into the toast, when everybody has food in front of them. And you can monitor it. You can cut it off short if it's going long. You cannot hand the mic to the next person. You can say, look, for the next 10 minutes we're going to tell stories. 10 minutes is up. Now it's time to do our toast. I think it flows nice that way. But let us know how you do it in your market and how it works for you. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Practice and enjoy.